What if I told you that I shot a paid professional gig with a lens that cost less than my lunch? Don't believe me? I'll prove it. Hey everybody, hope 2024 is starting off great. And if you're anything like me as a content creator, you've probably begun sizing up your next big purchase. What if I were to tell you that there's a tremendous value out there lurking that you may not know about that can give you professional level results without the professional level price tag? What am I referring to? Vintage lenses. Like many of you, I've lusted over those ARRI Cinema Primes or those very expensive telephoto zoom lenses. But I'm here to tell you that there's a tremendous amount of value out there that you're probably overlooking and professional level results in a piece of glass that's quite possibly older than you are. First, some vintage lens basics. These lenses can be found from a wide variety of manufacturers on places like eBay. For my particular poison, I went with the Canon FD line of lenses. These were manufactured in the 70s and 80s to go along with the Canon line of film cameras. And let me tell you, you'd be shocked at how good an image you can get from a lens that's literally decades old. Shooting with a piece of vintage glass on a modern-day digital camera will require adaptation. However, there are countless adapters and modifications you can do to get your lenses to work with whatever camera body you may own. In my particular case, I had to get an adapter to go from the FD lens mount to the RF body attachment. As you might expect with something this old, the creature comforts of a modern-day lens are nowhere to be found. Things like autofocus or image stabilization are obviously things that you won't find in a vintage lens. In fact, these were things that were considered science fiction in the 70s and 80s, so if you're going to use these lenses, be prepared to get hands-on. I'm old enough to remember film photography at the tail end, so things like manual focus are quite familiar to me. As a matter of fact, I quite enjoy the process, much in the way a driving enthusiast prefers driving a manual gearbox. Let me save you the suspense. Is a vintage lens as good as its modern-day counterpart? Absolutely not. But if you're the type of content creator who thinks it's always the gear holding you back, I'd politely say, cut the bullshit. There are plenty of professional results out there for gear that costs tens of dollars. I picked up this 100 to 300 FD lens for $29 and I used it on a paid professional shoot. I was able to get results as good as anybody else out there using modern day gear for a fraction of the cost. The point being, don't be so quick to assume that the results are going to come by virtue of making a very large purchase. As you might expect, vintage glass is naturally going to be a tad bit softer than something like a modern-day lens. However, these characteristics, I feel, might be something of value to your work. Videographers or photographers seek out these very special lenses because of the unique characteristics they impart on the work. If you're looking for something that will help you stand out from the crowd, having something slightly detuned or a bit softer may be that special touch. In fact, some of the vintage lenses out there on the market impart such a unique look that they're worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars on sites like eBay. Am I suggesting you run out and buy these? Of course I'm not. But I'm simply saying, lean into the characteristics of the gear that you own and embrace the imperfections. So, what's the bottom line here? Simple. Before running out and spending tons of money on brand new gear, consider a blast from the past and ask yourself whether or not a piece of vintage gear could be the right fit for what you're trying to do. If you have a question about shooting with vintage glass, I'm probably not the guy to ask, but admittedly, I've gone down the rabbit hole of shooting with vintage lenses, so I might know the best source of where to send you. If you do have a question, drop a comment down below and I will do my best to assist. And with that, we'll wrap up the video. Best wishes for the rest of 2024. Hope all of you are healthy, happy, and successful, and I will catch you in the next one. What if I told you that I shot a paid professional gig with a lens that cost less than my lunch? Don't believe me? I'll prove it.